That night, he flew to Chicago just to go get I think it was a pizza or something, and then came back.
Jeez. He's like, man, is he in his 20s?
40s.
Oh, dang. So
Yeah,
He looks like he's in his
Yeah,
20s.
he's not married. He's not married. And he's having the time of his life.
Oh, yeah.
He's living his best life. He's like, what? I get to go anywhere I want. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too, because I've been traveling more like during the whole quarantine session than before that. It's so weird because was it end of 2019, early 2020 is like when things started to steamroll.
Yeah.
And since I freelance doing video work for other people, I had one client from Japan ask me if I could follow this Japanese comedian who's trying to make it here in the States. So they flew me out I went from Chicago to Indiana, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Vegas.
Wow, that's cool.
And then I go back to Chicago
What's
and I
his
get
name?
COVID. Saku Yanagawa.
Saku
Is he any good?
Yes, he's actually a really funny and smart comedian.
Okay,
So
cool.
he pulls in a lot from like history.
Okay.
And so it's like if you don't know your history, then you're like, huh?
So he's like a Japanese Trevor Noah.
Pretty much.
Okay, we're gonna have to check him out.
He
See,
should be in the Bay Area. I don't know if it's in the Bay or Southern Cali.
hey, say his name again because I just
Yeah, I totally blanked on it too.
So Saku, Saku.
Saku
Yeah, Yanagawa, last name.
Yanagawa.
Oh, Yanagawa.
Okay.
Saku Yanagawa.
We're gonna have to check him out.
Yeah,
We're
definitely.
gonna call him. We can say you sent this. Hey, come to San Francisco. We gotta shoot it.
You say like, hey, you need to pay Jesse more. No, but I'm grateful. He hooked me up with that big client.
Is he in
He's in Chicago.
Japan? Oh, he's in Chicago.
He's in Chicago now. So he got a work visa. And
Because we can get out there. You want to go?
Well, we've been trying to get out to
Yeah,
Chicago.
we're gonna go see a guy go to well they call him Ka, Jeff Davison. He's out of Chicago.
is
In
he
Detroit.
Oh,
He's in
Detroit.
Detroit,
That's
yeah.
not in Chicago.
I know. Yeah, I was just thinking. Yeah, I knew he's out that way. So, but he's a CLUT practitioner, but he also does Pikiti through Doug Takeda. So
Okay.
I thought, since you know Doug, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I mean Forged in Fire. But yeah, I mean, what we're talking about again? In terms of
Making money.
Japanese
Yeah.
guy.
Some Japanese
Oh, right.
guy.
You had a job for 38 days.
yeah.
What is the job that you had for 38 days? What is it?
Well, I'm not going to put their name out there, but hey, it's funny because the owner of the company reached out to me via Facebook Messenger, and he was saying like, I'm looking for a videographer and editor because I want to start a YouTube channel. I'm like, okay,
A realtor?
yeah, he's
Huh,
a real estate
okay.
broker and agent.
No, that's a good thing to do. I get that. I get the idea behind it.
So yeah, well, because I think I went into the interview thinking like I'm gonna take photos and videos of the houses they're
Yeah,
selling,
yeah.
but he's like, no, I want to do like a day in the life of type of vlog / comedy show about people in the.
Okay, now he's just getting stupid.
Well,
For a minute there, I thought it was a good idea. Yeah, I can see a real
Like a
estate person using it.
mockumentary? Of...
kind of like that combined with The Office.
Yeah.
So
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Isn't that what The Office is? A mockumentary?
Aren't you glad it only lasted 37 days?
well, and it was like they said they liked how I interviewed and they're like, when can you start? I'm like, I'm going to Florida for a week. I could start when I come back. So I come back. I bring all my gear. I made a plan and outline of what we wanted to record weekly.
All right.
Of course, within the 38 days I was there, we only shot like 2.5 videos. Well, I don't blame it's not. It wasn't on me.
Oh, no, of course not.
But I heard like within Chicago, I don't know if it's the same thing here or across the United States. The busy season for real estate is like between April and September.
Correct.
So
Okay.
Yeah, that's when people can go check out houses. You don't want to go during the winter time.
When it's raining and all that.
yeah, and they just got overwhelmed, and the HR person took me in. They're like, it's nothing against you or your work. The boss likes you. It's just we don't have time. We don't have time to do this. So I'm like,
Then why'd you start this fucking shit? God damn it.
Well, I think also, on a individual level, you put somebody who's relatively funny in person in front of a camera, they kind of choke. Like they don't know how to
Especially if
how to
it's a
stay
realtor.
natural. Yeah.
What do you know about comedy? You want to do this?
well, I've had some funny people there that weren't uptight. A lot of my coworkers were cool. And the fact that it was just like it was Latino-owned business.
Okay.
So I was like, I kind of felt
Well, yeah, that's funny in its
fresh,
own.
fresh out of. I was like the only Filipino guy there with the Spanish last name that didn't speak Spanish, but I can sometimes know what you're talking about.
And you look Chinese, so you're doing great.
I get mistaken for Korean a lot.
See?
It's like, okay, like I don't know.
It's the height.
Yeah,
Or
It's like, no, you're not Filipino height. You're more Korean height.
Korean, or like, are you from Hawaii? Are you like, no, but I got relatives there. I was like,
dude, I get Japanese a lot.
Miyagi.
Yeah, Miyagi.
Yeah.
I'm always
Little fat
Japanese or
Miyagi.
something, yeah.
yeah, and they hear your last name. It's like, why do you have a Spanish last name? And that's why, like, with the, like the whole tying with FMA Pulse, it's just showing the cultural aspect, not just the fighting art.
Right, of course.
Because like a lot of people outside of the Philippines still don't know what a Filipino is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They do not.
Well, a lot of Filipinos don't know what FMA is either.
Yeah,
So you're doing good.
the Filipino karate.
Is that, oh, you play with the sticks, right? Yeah. Play with the sticks.
You're doing the
Okay.
Filipino kung fu. Or the,
You know, we had Sonny Sison, right?
yes.
We had him on our show, and we were talking about the bladed hand. You know, and all the drama that they had to go through to even get that thing, put together. I mean,
Oh yeah, the
him-
off-camera conversation with that
Yeah.
one was fun.
And it's funny because, like you were saying, they go to places that nobody knows what Filipino martial arts is. They even made a big deal about that in the show because they was like, yeah, I don't know. They go to the man on the street and say, hey, do you know what FMA is or Ardenesa? And he goes, no, I don't know. Because it's like, wow, how do you, as an entire country, not know your fighting style?
Dude, I did that in Daly City, which is like a Filipino Central. I went to the mall, and every other Filipino I asked, hey, do you guys know about this? He's like, what's that? I was like,
Yeah.
oh, never mind.
And I was like, hey. Well, it's funny. It's like you ask a non-Filipino. It's like I'm Filipino. Like, what's that? Philippines? What part of Mexico is that in? I was like, oh my god. I was like,
It is a tropical mix.
year round with typhoons. I was like, it's funny because like I've talked to my non-Filipino friends and they're like, oh yeah, Philippines is like the Mexico of Asia, or the Puerto Rico of Asia. I was like, okay, whatever, man. But yeah, I mean, it's the whole thing with it's that's why I like what Joseph is doing with his school because it's not just the fighting art.
Oh,
Here's
yeah,
the history.
when I was looking at that after I got home, because me and Jeff know each other enough that we see each other's events or whatever, and oh, cool, right? Then when I walked through this school, and you started seeing all these things up there, and then people started posting all this stuff, because everybody started friending me. I'm like, so now I have to read these things. Like, oh, what is that? What is that? Wow, this guy is actually on the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he is, like you said, he's not just about the martial arts. And I didn't realize until I spoke to him that he had more than just Filipino martial arts behind him. Mm-hmm. He's got all kinds of other systems that he's doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like 20 other ones. I'm like, what?
And it's also a community center.
Yeah, and it's a community center. And, I'm taken back. I was like, holy shit, this guy has really, and I told him, that, I could see that you were the one who was pushing Robert into that direction of getting stuff done. Because I know Casha wasn't that way before, but every time I saw something in the news or something about Scott Boudin, I kind of knew that Joseph had a hand in putting that together. Because that's just the kind of guy he is. When you ask him to do something, 100% he's going to do that. And that's why I really admire Joseph. He's an awesome guy. You're a nice guy.
So is
I'll
this
see you
the
later
lead
on
in
today.
to have him on the show?
Yeah,
Okay,
this
just
is
make sure.
me trying to.
Right, just twist
Oh,
the
you're a
knife.
nice guy. I'll come on your show. No, he already committed yesterday, so I got him. We're good. Joseph, I love you.
Yeah, I've known him since 2012, and I met him through. There was a demo. So I don't know if it was in Vallejo, but there was an organization that was trying to unify all the FMA systems at that one point. It kind of fell apart, but
Well, yeah, it's trying to
Filipino martial
unify.
arts. You're talking about Filipinos.
like,
I was gonna say it's trying to unify Filipinos. That's
Yeah. That's an oxymoron. It's ironic.
well, yeah, and then there was like all these grandmasters and gurus that attended the event. I mean,
way too much ego.
yeah. Well, so far they were cool. I mean, Grandmaster Carlito Bonjuk was there.
Oh, he's awesome.
Oh, he's yeah.
Nene
You're on.
Gabugayan, Grandmaster Nene Gabugayan of Balintawak was there. Grandmaster Castro was there.
I'm sure Mel Aprilia should have been there. He's a willing to walk.
Yeah.
He's really strong. And he's a very cultural guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I
his
love that
knowledge
guy.
is
Yeah.
crazy.
Because his instructor was Grandmaster Virgil Villison.
Listen. Yeah.
Now Villison's in Florida.
Yeah. So crazy.
And yeah, I mean, that's how we met. That was back in 2012 when we were up here, and you know, we introduced who we were and like what our goal and our mission was, and we started interviewing people there, like at the hotel
That's
room,
cool.
like
Yeah.
in the
Oh yeah, we've done many of those damn hotel rooms.
Oh,
it's
man.
the worst case scenario.
especially when it's summer and it's hot. It's like, oof.
When we were up there in the hotel. We did this during the winter time.
Yeah, it was October
Yeah, October.
for the gathering.
Yep. for the
Yeah.
gathering.
Actually, the lighting worked really cool.
Yeah, it was weird,
background,
though,
yeah.
you know, because it's daylight and then the sun starts to sit down. And
Yeah. All right, turn on every light.
yeah, and there's none.
It's all dim.
We had to take out the shades
the
off of
shades.
them.
I was like, all right, let's go to the bar and continue this discussion. But yeah, that's how we first got into like doing interviews here on the West Coast at the time, and that was like right before we took our 4 or 5 year hiatus. And
Yeah.
because people don't know, like when you edit videos, that's the most lengthiest part of creating a
Yes,
video.
thank you. Tell him. God damn.
What?
I'm the only one doing the edits.
I don't want to
And
know
I'm
about the
doing it-
labor
I'm doing it
pains. I
off
just want
my-
to see the baby.
Yeah, I'm doing it off my phone. You know, so I'm
Sorry,
going,
that was
I'm
very
going blind
misogynistic.
because I have to, one of the, and I'm sure you run into this, right? When something goes wrong, you won't know until after the show, like with
Exactly.
the equipment, and that's the
Dude.
scariest part, right? You know,
We did an entire episode. It was nearly 2 hours long, only to find out at the end of it that the sound cut out at like minute 9.
yeah.
Oh,
And we had no idea. I was like, oh, and for a second I was like, damn, did I turn the knob the wrong way and turn off the mic? Like I felt so bad. And then I realized, nope, wasn't me. Never mind. I feel a little better, but yeah, we had to redo the whole thing.
And
That-
luckily, the person we had, she was like, "Oh, let's do it again. Let's go." And like, thank God.
we just had to feed her first, and then
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's one thing you got to worry about too, about corrupted files and all that stuff, and it's
It's
It's happened a few times, and it's so disheartening. I mean, your heart just sinks every time. and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah, because you don't know how to tell the guest.
yeah. It's
Oh,
like,
by the way,
hey, do you have another 2 hours?
we'll get a bottle of Jack Daniels and
But
This is gonna be the after dark
oddly
episode.
enough, the second episode or the second try through was even better than the first one.
Yeah.
Almost every time that we've done it.
so like everyone's warmed up after that first 2
Yeah,
hours.
because now they know the personalities. Now they can just joke around and whatever and just have fun.
Yeah,
So we've been fortunate that happened.
We're a big believer that the universe had a plan, and it was to fuck up our first try.
To get the better show.
Yeah, I mean, it's luckily like when I was in Mexico, and we were in Cancun for the Russian House event.
Oh, nice.
With,
Ooh.
with Guru Alexander Pisarkin.
Yeah.
So he had G and Bobby there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny
That's
like
a
how
big
the
deal.
Russians are pushing Filipino martial arts.
Yeah.
Especially in Mexico. We got Russians
Mexico.
teaching Filipino martial arts to Mexicans. I
It's
was like,
systematic. They want to get as close to the border as possible. No, I'm
They're
just
like-
kidding. I'm kidding.
no, but I mean, shout out to Guru Alex Pisarkin. I mean, he usually does this in the Philippines.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And he gets all the gurus and grandmasters together, and you got people from all around the world coming to the seminars. And it's not just for Russians; you got people from Europe, United
Right,
States,
yeah.
Canada, and
Wow.
because of COVID, they didn't have it in 2021, so they moved it to Mexico. And then he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, would you mind, covering us and helping
Yeah,
us
the
out?"
Mexicans don't care. Just come on by.
You don't even need a mask.
I'm Mexican.
Well, yeah, I mean, where I'm like, we're at Cancun. I'm like, I'm there.
Yeah, dude.
Cancun, yeah.
Here's your complimentary margarita.
Oh yeah, oh my god, the food and liquor just flowed. I was like, oh man, how can you guys wake up early and still train after last night? Man?
Are you kidding? You sweat out all that tequila. It's awesome. I did that this Saturday. Sunday. I got my days mixed up.
But where was I going with this?
No clue.
Oh, yeah. No, this happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, with the Russian House event, I mean, I had a chance to meet Guru Alex Pisarkin, who's also like, he's like a sponge for Filipino martial arts because he's also representative of not only Tabuadas Balintawak, but the Russia representative for Filipino combat systems.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Abanico
Is that
Tres
Daniel
Puntos,
Florante?
the Filipino combat systems. So the founder was Tuhan Radio Naldo.
Okay, Ray and all. Yeah.
And
Is he still doing a lot of seminars? Because I know I haven't seen his name come up on the seminar circuit for a while.
yeah, he's mostly doing stuff within the East Coast, Midwest.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah. So he's really big within, because he lives in Florida and he has that fan.
Oh, yes,
that's-
yeah.
Just drive up.
and he likes to drive everywhere. So when you see his big white Suburban, he's here.
I like it. It's so Filipino.
Like,
They always got to get the biggest.
Tiny bag jumps out.
It's funny.
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, he's done a couple seminars out here on the West Coast.
Yeah, he has. He was in LA a couple of times.
Yep. But most of the time when I hear a seminar, it's like either Atlanta or Ohio or New York. I missed them because there was a big one in Atlanta with Kali Evolution. I couldn't because I had a day job, and I was like, "Oh, I really want to go to Atlanta and cover because
You were working for the office.
yeah."
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn it!" But the next one next year I heard is going to be in Brazil.
Oh,
Let us know.
dude.
See,
You want to go to Brazil?
Well, I was in Brazil in February, and outside of the touristy areas, like Rio de Janeiro, I'm sorry, my Portuguese was coming out a little bit, but and Sao Paulo, you really need to work on speaking Portuguese.
Yeah, because everybody just trashes the shit out of you, right?
Yeah, it's like, ay gringo, porque você aqui.
No, I'm here because I want some of that food. That's
The food there is awesome. They said they never get snow there. They're like, it rains. They're like, I'm like, and I was there in February, and I'm looking at the weather in Chicago. I'm like, snowing. I'm like, I don't want to go back there.
You know what? I'm gonna extend my vacation.
It's like,
One more week.
but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind going back to Brazil because one of my goals also with FMA Pulse is where is there other Filipino martial arts in different countries?
Right.
So there's a couple I found on Instagram that I want to reach out, but people don't know how big Brazil is, and you need to fly sometimes. It's depending where you're
part
at.
to the
It's
other,
like
yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. My buddy who's Colombian says because in Brazil is primarily Portuguese.
Yeah.
Right.
All other countries surrounding it is Spanish, and he referred to Brazil as they're like the Texans of South America. they're in a whole different world.
They really are.
Meet up
They
with
really
I cracked up when he started saying that.
Wow,
Oh, man.
that's too funny. So let me
That's
ask you this,
hilarious.
because like you say, you guys have been off for about a couple of months now, right? With FMA Pulse?
Yeah, now that I'm free from the day job,
Right.
this gives me more time now to cover as much as I can because I'm here till Friday.
Oh, cool.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for at
Yeah,
least
for
talking
adding-
to us.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be, I sent out the messages to all the people that we met at the event. Like,
Right.
what's your schedule like looking this week? I'm only here till Friday, so we were supposed to do this yesterday.
Right.
But I had a nightmare getting my rental car.
Yeah, I know.
was-
I thought because we were thinking the worst. This fucker lied.
Yeah. That was like the thing. I was like, I try to keep
Since
my,
I hadn't met you, I wasn't there yet. So I was just like, okay, he can't make it, whatever.
He flaked on me.
Yeah.
Goddamn Filipino.
Yeah.
That Korean guy.
That Corepino looking guy. With the Spanish last name.
No, but
Portuguese
and
accent.
I take that back because here's the thing, right? When you text and say, "Hey,"
Oh, he was actually grateful.
right? I was
He
like,
was really
at least the
grateful.
guy let us know, because you know how it is, right? So people say, "Oh yeah, I'll be there," and then they don't go, and you're like, "Fuck, I spent all this time getting shit ready and blah blah blah," right?
Yeah.
But like, say you were kind enough to at least, hey, I'm having problems with the car, blah blah, blah long lines, and I get that because it's like that out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had to go back to Oakland Airport to get the
Yeah.
car rental,
Oh, shit.
and then drive back to Berkeley.
Ooh,
Yeah, so we were in holding. I mean,
No. He held it against you for a little bit until you
like,
called.
damn.
And then,
yeah. Until
then
I
after
got
that,
the
he was
message.
cool.
Well, I mean, I try to remain professional and just keep.
Thank you. You
Respect.
know how many people
No,
don't?
that's- oh, yeah,
Goddamn
yeah.
bastards!
See?
You guys know who you are.
It's like dating. I sent her a message and then she never called me back.
Because in dating, it's the opposite. You kind of have to make her wait. Then she'd be interested. If you text her right back, then
Yeah, you're creep and
you
stalker.
simp. We don't want you.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
misogynist. Thirsty
Hey, man,
misogynist.
you're too needy.
Like,
Oh, he hasn't texted in like a day. I should check how he's doing. See, it works
no,
out.
just look at my Instagram stories and
Yeah,
you know what I'm doing.
There you go.
There you go.
But
It's
yeah.
like, I'm too busy. I don't need you right now.
So, where are you trying to put Pulse now? Where are you trying to go with it? Now that you have the time, I guess, are you just gonna run over everybody and say, "Hey, come talk to me"?
Yeah, so I'm trying to
We're gonna take your lead. That's why.
Well, that's the thing too because
Hold on, let me write down.
I'll say,
Maybe we can get to them first.
Okay, I'll say it in Portuguese. Número es diferente isso não é com espanhol. So I was like,
I can't even put up side titles. I don't know what to say.
No, he said he needs to learn to speak Spanish.
Okay.
see, that's funny. Like when I was working at the real estate company, like I was trying to practice Spanish, but then my Portuguese would come out, and I was like, It was like because like they noticed that when I was in Brazil
Right.
that I would mix in Spanish into the Portuguese, and they're like, "Oh, you're speaking Portunhol."
Portunhol.
So what's Portunhol stand for? Portuguese Espanol.
Yeah.
So I was like, so I'm like, oh, disculpe.
Dude,
But it,
in high school, I had a full-on conversation with this Brazilian girl. She spoke Portuguese, I spoke Spanish,
but you understood each other.
but we understood each other.
See, yeah, gosto.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Well, she was cute too. So
I'm odd man out today.
That's
Speak Tagalog, I'll know what to do.
hindi ko alam yan.
Exactly. Man, your accent sucks, dude. I'm like, hey,
Good, coming from the guy
It
who
sounds
everybody
Portuguese.
says your accent
my accent
sucks.
sucks.
Yeah.
Dude, I was raised an American. I was here when I
Same
was
here.
probably 3 years old. So you know the struggle, right?
Yeah.
Everybody. When I went to the Philippines the first time, I was like 20 some odd years old. And I'm trying to talk to people that are just cracking up. Little kids are just making fun of me.
Yeah, I'll just speak English.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Like, putang ina, man. Fuck this shit. And then you go to a different part of the Philippines, like, oh, we don't speak Tagalog here.
Yeah, like, God damn it, I'm shit out. Yeah.
I do have a question because with what you're doing with the FMA Pulse, you want to